Hey guys, it's Veterans Day, November the 11th. I'm going to record two videos and post them. I don't know in what order, but um, the first one that I'm going to start off with talking about, I recorded it like this will be the fourth time because I just don't like the way it ends up every time. Um, so I've alluded in a couple of videos when I talked about infertility experiences and migraines. I alluded to the fact that I've been having some sort of immune system issue for a long time now. And a lot of everything that we had for the last decade or more has built on, and I think a lot of it might be interconnected. So it's rheumatological. About 3 years ago, nope, 5 years ago now, I was 36 and I started noticing that I was having problems with my right hip, problems with my fingers. They have knots. I don't know if you can see, and knots on my thumbs, knots on my pointer fingers, and they're slightly turning down. So anyway, that started when I was like 36. And I went through a couple of years of back and forth, going to a sports specialist. And then they said, we think this is more than osteoarthritis. Then they sent me to a rheumatologist. And the rheumatologist pulled all of my markers for immune system, and they couldn't find anything. And the problem with that is sometimes rheumatology takes years to get diagnosis. I think the statistic is like 5 years on average for people. In rheumatology, we're talking about lupus, Sjogren's syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, a lot of that. And it's basically any of those things that fall within your immune system. But went back and forth, and I got a second opinion with a new rheumatologist, and she said, I feel like it's something more, but none of your numbers are showing up. And the problem with rheumatology and rheumatology doctors is unless your blood markers show up, you're not going to get some kind of diagnosis. Now, it's important to note that rheumatoid arthritis has a seronegative diagnosis. So you can be seronegative and have rheumatoid arthritis, but it's very hard to get many doctors to actually listen to that and do much about that. So, it's been 3 years ago now since I saw the second rheumatoid doctor. And she was like, okay, well, we think it's osteoarthritis. Bye. And it sucks because you're like, this isn't right. Let me rewind with some, besides the knots and the pain in my hip. I was also for a long time having just fevers out of the blue with no idea what was going on. And it was like a year and a half, about 1.5 degrees over norm, because we were going through infertility and all that for so long, 5 years or so. I was constantly temping, so I knew my body was normally 97.6, and when I started feeling off, I would be 98.6, 99, somewhere in there. So it's not an actual fever, at least by doctor standards, but I knew it was off, and I'd feel weird, warm, just tired and stuff. And I was also complaining to my endocrinologist. They said they had my thyroid right, but I was still tired and just exhausted. Had intermittent bouts of insomnia and stuff like that, throughout time. So this has been happening, a decade or more, and then you add in that arthritis feeling through that. Now this summer I started having more stuff. It was a stressful time at work, and then just all of a sudden in July something hit. If I look back at my old videos, I can tell that all of this on my hand is red and really swollen. These joints here, and not as much now. And then these joints here, and then I was feeling pain in here, in my elbows. Not so much in my shoulders, but new pain in my ankles and knees and things like that. And then I was also having swelling. My knees were swelling up pretty good and stuff. So on the side and then back behind my knees. And then I started noticing that I was getting like what looked like plaque, a rash with plaques on it. And so I went to my GP and I said, something's up. And I feel like I'm having a flare of some sort. And, it takes months to get into a rheumatologist. And she said, let me go on and pull these basic things like all your RA markers. And she did that, and it comes back and she says, you're positive for 2 RA markers now, IgG and IgA. And that can also be present in someone with lupus, but not as much of the, swollen joints and things like that. So I went back to, hang on. The doctor told me, hey, I've got you a referral for this new rheumatologist closer to where you live, but it's not going to be until the end of October. And I'm like, I am just dying here. She gave me a shot of prednisone that worked. It's temporary. It's only a 40 milligram prednisone. It worked for a couple weeks, and then it kind of stopped working. And she said, I can't give you anything else. A rheumatologist has to do that. So I kind of thought, well, I'm going to check and see if the one that I had been to 3 years ago has an opening. And sure enough, she did. It was about a month and a half earlier, beginning of September. She said, based on your numbers, we're seeing rheumatoid arthritis is your diagnosis. And she put me on Plaquenil, and she put me on prednisone, a taper. And the way tapers work, you do a larger dose at the beginning for a week, and then you taper down for a week, and then you taper down for a week, and then you're off. And so with her, it was 15 milligrams for a week, 10 for a week, and 5 for a week. And then I was off. So as each week went by, it kind of sucked as we tapered down, but then I would straighten out, and I like that. And when I got off, I felt like things were finally tamped down. And you don't realize how swollen you get until you're not swollen anymore. And I was doing fine for a couple of weeks. And then on Sunday night, one of my best friend's husbands died really early, like 26. And it was sudden. That threw me for a loop, but I was doing okay. And then Tuesday morning, I got hit head on at a stop sign. She wasn't going fast. I was sitting there, but I tensed up because I saw it happening. And I think all of that stress and everything sent me into another flare. So I called her back, and she put me on another taper round, and that really helped. So fast forward, end of October, now, she did not put me on any kind of anti-inflammatory. And I wondered why. But it is what it is. So at the end of October, when the rheumatologist appointment came up for the one that my GP referred me to, I decided to go on and go to him because he's a lot closer to home, number one. And I just wanted to make sure that, he didn't think anything else was up. Muscle-wise and things, I've been having different aches and pains, and I had wondered about fibromyalgia, but anyway, he actually clarified a lot more than they ever had before. He said that these knots are bone spurs. The things happening in my lower spine are bone spurs. He says that comes from osteoarthritis. So you have both going on. He also put me on an anti-inflammatory. So, that's a different step. With him being closer to home, that'll help. So, I don't know if you've noticed, I've had some itching going on. And when I'm on the prednisone, I don't feel it. So, that doesn't happen. I think that could be the Plaquenil. Because it's like, and it's weird, it's mainly my upper arms, and around my wrist and stuff like that, hands. And um, I may have to call him and see if we need to dial back the Plaquenil that I'm on. He said for my weight, I'm on too much. So that might be a possibility. Anyway, Plaquenil is one of the least amounts of side effects for the medicines that are out there, and I will take that any day, because some of the other medications that they have are like chemotherapy based, and I don't want to go through that if I don't have to. So if Plaquenil will work and itching is my only side effect, I'm going to take that. So anyway, this is my rheumatology story. It's been technically 3 years in the making, 5 years since the onset of most of the symptoms. And it's important to note, some people may test positive for RF factors and never develop rheumatoid, but it may be a warning that you do get rheumatoid. Some people may have rheumatoid arthritis and not have RF markers, or they may be like mine, who have RF markers who are positive, but not have, and I just lost the name of it. Dang it. If I think of what it was that I didn't test positive for. But anyway, I also tested positive for C-reactive protein, which is inflammatory markers. So if I can think of the third one that I didn't test positive for, I'll put it in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, staying healthy out there, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.